My Twitter account was dead for last 7 years. 50 post totals. Then I spent 3 hours building this automation and now it posts curated niche specific content every 2 hours even when I sleep. And in this video I am going to show you how exactly I built this step by step so you can do the same. Look, we all know that any social media, be it YouTube, X, Instagram or Facebook, they all have one thing in common. They all reward consistency. But being consistent is hard when you are actually juggling through your work, life, or maybe you are primarily focused on a specific social media. Like me, I am focused on YouTube. I am trying to grow my YouTube channel. So every time you are thinking you should tweet something, it comes to it, what should I tweet about? Or you might just stare at the blank screen and zone out. Well, I have figured out a solution for myself and I am going to show you exactly how I built this, and in few minutes you can have it too. So first what we are doing is every 24 hours we are going to skim through different news sources across the internet like TechCrunch, Tech Explore, Wired, The Verge, Science Daily, Artificial Intelligence News, Arctechnica, Beehive, and curate the latest news content from them in a very specific format. We get all those results and we create tweets from each article. And once we have tweets created for each articles, we are going to score each of the tweets and then we are going to save some top 10, top 20 tweets in our sheet, which will look something like this. And then every 2 hours we are going to get the top scorer tweet that we have created in our sheet and we are going to post it to X and then append the status to be posted. And then just like this, without doing anything, you are going to post a tweet every 2 hours like this. 1 hour ago, 3 hour ago and 5 hour ago. So first off, what we are going to do is we are going to use a schedule trigger node and we are going to schedule every day at midnight. Then we need to fetch the news articles from different RSS feeds. For that, we'll search for RSS read and then we need to enter the URL of the actual news website. Here is the one from TechCrunch. So I have gone through multiple sources and found out all the different sources which posts news about science, tech and AI, and they almost have the category for many different niche that you can use. So let's execute this. So we found around 20 articles from TechCrunch that is focused on AI. Now let's go ahead and focus on those articles which were created in last 24 hours. For that we are going to use a filter node. And then we are going to use this publish date. We need to select this date and time and after or equal to, so that we can set the date should be greater than last 24 hours. Now here we don't need a fiction, we will choose an expression and we'll type $now. That will signify the current date and then we will subtract 1 day like this. And now when you execute this, we got around 4 items and other 16 items were older than 1 day, so we are going to reject them. Now we want to output all the 4 items into a specific format so that when we use different RSS read from different sources, we can always rely on the structure of the data. We are going to use the set node and we are going to always have ID node. For ID, let's use the GUID and we will name it ID across every RSS. And then we are going to need the link of the article. We are going to need the title of the article. We are going to use the content of the article. We'll use the content snippet but change the name to content. We'll also make sure we have the publishing date and we'll also add a summary line, which will be empty in this case because this RSS read is not giving us any summary. We will also use a source and here we will just say this is coming from TechCrunch. Now what we are going to do is we are going to execute this step and we have now nicely formatted results. We will make sure to keep this order from every RSS read and then we are going to merge all the changes. So you can go through different URLs and add it what you think is best for you. But I'm going to show you one more where there is a little bit of different fields. So just to be clear, so this is from The Verge, and here we are getting around 10 items with summary, and the ID field is also named differently. So now we are going to again filter for the last 24 hour. We'll use the publishing date again. We'll go to the date and time after or equal to, set it to expression and say $now minus 1 days. Yep, that's it. Execute the step and we discarded all of them. So there is no new article from this site, and this is precisely why we need to filter. So maybe for now we'll use 2 for this demonstration, and we got around 5 articles. Now we are going to again use the edit field. And by the way, pro tip, if you are going to do it multiple times, just copy this and add it. Maybe we'll need to add some changes, like the GUID is not present here, remove it, go to your content and pass the ID directly. The link is same, title is same, content snippet, yep, content snippet looks good. And then publishing date is also same. Summary, they have a specific summary line, we'll use that only. And then they have source. The source will set it hard coded to The Verge. And that's it. We'll execute this. We have around 5 items with the same formats. Now what we are going to do is we are going to merge the different sources. We know all of them have the same format. So we'll use the merge node. We'll set the number of input to 2. Okay. Then drag this to the input 2. If you have multiple inputs, you can just set the number from here, and then from this screen you can just simply drag all the inputs into your merge node. Once you have it merged, you can execute this step. Make sure this is in append mode. We had 5 input from one source and 4 input from another. We got around 9 in total items. All of these are having the same structure or schema. Summary is empty for some of them and summary is filled for others. Let's go ahead to our next step where we are actually going to create the tweet. Click on this plus icon and search for the basic LLM chain. And here we are going to choose the prompt should be defined below, and we will define our prompt. This is the exact prompt what I am using. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the title and content summary, and I want it to create up to maximum of 200 character tweets with some instructions and the output format. I choose to use no emojis, no hashtags. You can add if you want. And for the title and content summary, if the node has summary, then I'm using the summary, and then we are using this 2 pipe thing that is basically means or. If the summary is present, then we are going to use summary, or we are going to use content. So if both are present, we are always going to use summary. If one of them present, we'll use either of them. Once you define your prompt, let's go ahead and add a chat model that can use. We are going to use OpenAI chat model in this case. We'll use GPT 4.1 mini. That should be enough. You can use nano if you want to save more cost, or you can experiment with mini. Since we are going to do one call every time for each article, the cost can increase if the number of articles are more. So keep that in mind. Let's get back to our basic LLM chain and execute this step. So for all of these 9 articles, we got these text output. I'll just pin it down here so that I can use it without actually calling the LLM in this demonstration. Now our next step would be to actually score these tweets. We'll use the basic LLM node again, and again we are going to refine the prompt below and use this prompt. Here what we are going to do, we are simply going to say you take the text tweet and score it between 0 to 100. We are going to give weightage to hook strength 30%, curiosity gap 25%, emotional impact 20%, and so on. You can change these numbers, and I think clarity should be a little more. So I'm going to use clarity on top for this. I'll use 30% for clarity and 25% for hook strength. Okay, now remove this, and yep. In the end, I'm just passing this JSON text, and now we have this ready. Now attach the model again. I'll use OpenAI. In this case, the task is not very tricky, so I'm going to use any nano model. It can be 5 nano or 4 nano. I'll use the 5 nano this time. Yep. Now go back to your LLM chain and execute. Now our LLM is back after scoring all of these tweets. Now what we are going to do is sort them in descending order. We'll use the sort node. We'll say simple type. What will be our sort key? We will sort by the text, this one, and it will be descending order, and execute. Now before I execute, I can go ahead and pin this so I don't execute this step again. Well, execute. Now I have around 93.5 for the highest rated and 71 for the lowest. If you are using multiple sources, you might have around 30-40 tweets created, and you might want to limit around maybe 10-12 how many tweets you want to post every day. So we are going to limit it to 6 items. So just use the limit node here, and max item should be 6. And the first item, yes, because we have sorted already. And once you execute this step, we have around 6 items. We have ignored anything below 80. Okay, now before we continue, let's create a Google Sheet and add some columns. Now I have prepared this sheet with ID, link, tweet, score, status. Maybe you want to add source if you need. Let's get back to our workflow and use the split icon and use a set node, which will set all those fields we have defined. We used ID, which we can get from this merge node, and we'll just drag it down here. Then we need the link. You can again get it from the merge node. Now we need the actual tweet, which we can get from the LLM chain 1. Then we are going to need the score. You can again get it from here, but mind that you need to change the variable name here. It is going to be tweet, and this is going to be your score. Then we need status and source. Here we'll just add a field and we'll say status equals to created. Then we are going to use one more field where we'll be storing the source. So this is the source. Yep. Okay, we don't need to include other fields, so this much is enough, and execute. We have this data. We'll just pin it down here. Schema, you can see this is what we are going to get from every tweet. Next step is to actually add the Google Sheet node. We'll use the append or update row in the sheet. Okay, make sure you choose the right credentials. If you have trouble setting up the credentials, you can watch this video to connect Google Sheet into your n8n. Then resource is correct, operation is correct. We're going to choose the document. We named our document tweet store. We'll use this, and then our sheet was the sheet 3. Yep. Now we will map each of them. We'll match the data from ID so that we don't duplicate the same ID again. Link, drop it here. Tweet, drop it here. Score, drop it here. Status, drop it here. Source, drop it here. And once you execute this, what will happen? All the 6 items are now added into our sheet. Okay, let's beautify this and a little bit bigger. Yep. So let's actually see if the tweet look good. So lowest score is Perl Access just turned their startup into a 1 billion unicorn. Okay, 80 fair. Then we have a robot won't just fight crime. Okay, it's about robot and crime, so 93.5. Yeah, feels good. You can go ahead and play around with the prompt for scoring and get your desired result. So next step for us is to, let's say, post every 3 hour or 4 hour. We'll use the schedule node again. And what we are going to do is we are going to choose hours interval and we are going to use 3 hour interval and then execute. We'll arrange this here. I accidentally pressed the space bar while clicking on this node and it opened this dialog box, and I just found out you can use this to rename this node. So I'm going to say it tweet scheduled. Yep, this is handy. Now what we are going to do is we are going to use the sheet node to get the data from the sheet, set the credentials, set the tweet store, sheet 3 was it, then choose add filter, choose a column. Let's say we'll use the status column where value is created and we need one at a time. So what we are going to say is go to option and return only the first matching row. Click here, okay, toggle it on and execute. So this was our robot crime tweet. Now that we have it, we'll use X node, formerly Twitter, create tweet. Yep. So here you need to also connect your credentials. You will need client ID, client secret. I've shown in this video how you can connect Twitter to your n8n in just under 2 minutes. So if you have any trouble, just pause that. Now back to our create tweet node. We'll just drag down the tweet and press execute step. Here, this tweet is now posted along with the one that I've already set up for every 2 hours. Now that we have posted this tweet and we don't want to use it again, we need to update this status from created to posted. Use the sheet node. We will click on the update row in the sheet. Everything is as is. We'll just add the tweet store, sheet 3. Now we'll match by ID, and the ID you are going to get from the get rows in the sheet node. We will just add it here. We don't want to update tweet, score or source. It's just going to use status. Now before I click here execute, I want to go back to our get row node and pin this data so it doesn't run accidentally, and I update the same thing in this demonstration. Now if I click on execute step, status is updated to posted. So the next time that schedule run that we have set for every 3 hours, it is going to pick this one. You have successfully automated your Twitter posting. You can use this to maybe create a new page or automate your existing page. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if you are on a free plan for the Twitter APIs, you are going to get around 17 posts every day that you can create from your workflows or automations. So that was the whole reason why I used 2 hours, so that in total I'm going to create around 12 from this automation only. And you can go to higher plans and have this limit increased. And now if you are with me so far, hit that subscribe button, because in the next 30 to 100 days I'm going to experiment with this. Maybe I will tweak with this automation and see what result I am going to get, and I'm going to share the exact thing with you. Now hit that like button and tell me in the comments below what niche you are going to automate for your page. And follow me on the Twitter if you want to track this experiment closely yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and now go automate your Twitter page, and I will see you in the next video.